Namaskar, I'm Anubhav Ranjan and you're watching Ritam. In recent months, Bangladesh has seen a disturbing rise in violence and persecution against its Hindu minority, a consequence of the Islamist-leaning interim government under Muhammad Yunus. Instead of addressing these escalating crimes, Yunus and his government have opted for blatant appeasement of extremist elements, downplaying the suffering of Hindus and turning a blind eye to their victimization. One glaring example of this appeasement-driven inaction occurred on September 28 when the Rishipara Bavdi Puja Mandap in Pabna district were ruthlessly vandalized. Just days later, on October 1, idols of Ma Durga and other Hindu deities were desecrated at the Mankidi Palpada Bavri Puja Mandap. Altogether, 4 idols were smashed in Rishipara and 5 in Mankidi, leaving the local Hindu community in shock and fear. Despite their desperate pleas for protection, Bangladeshi security forces were conspicuously absent. The attacks did not stop there. On October 3, 7 more idols were destroyed at the Gopinath Jew Akhada Durga Puja Mandap in Kishorganj, Dhaka division. This desecration occurred as the temple's guard was asleep, a failure that reflects the government's indifference to the safety of Hindu sites. Earlier on September 6, a Hindu procession during Ganesh Utsav in Chittagong was attacked, yet another example of how Hindus are being openly targeted. The numbers tell a harrowing story. Since the coup that brought Yunus to power, there have been at least 205 reported assaults on Hindu temples, shops and businesses. This wave of violence led by radical Islamist elements shows no signs of slowing down. In one particularly shocking case, a Hindu youth named Utsav Mandal in Chittagong was lynched after being falsely accused of blasphemy. Mobs of extremists even surrounded a police station and set army vehicles ablaze in aftermath. More than 60 Hindu teachers, professors and government officials have been pressured to resign, victimized by a system increasingly titled toward religious bigotry. Adding to this atmosphere of terror, radical organizations have issued open threats to the Hindu community, warning them against celebrating Durga Puja publicly, engaging in idol worship or holding immersion ceremonies. In Khulna, Hindu temples received anonymous letters from Islamist groups demanding large sums of money, threatening to prevent any Durga Puja celebrations if these payments were not made. Rather than confronting these alarming trends, Yunus made an outlandishing statement last month, suggesting that the severity of attacks on Hindu was being exaggerated. Such remarks are not only misleading but also deeply harmful, raising serious questions about whether the government is complicit in the ongoing persecution. Is Yunus so blinded by his desire to maintain power that he is willing to ignore the plight of his country's Hindu minority? The international community cannot afford to remain silent while Bangladesh Hindus face relentless violence and intimidation. It is imperative that global icons step in, protect these vulnerable minorities and hold the Yunus government accountable for its blatant disregard of basic human rights. Bangladesh must end its dangerous course of appeasing radical Islamist forces before the situation spirals even further out of control. Jai Hind.